Welcome back to Candy's Art World. I'm Candy. Today I'm going to be drawing 3 apples. I decided to give my little stencil a try, see if that could help me um, make some apples a little quicker. It did. It was kind of, an apple isn't exactly round, but it was a good jumping off point. Um, so these are 3 apples that are sitting on like a wood deck. Um, in my Prismacolor set, I don't have any grays, but I do have a silver. So I end up using browns and silvers for the, or silver for the wood, and a little black for in the crack of the wood planks. And I just kind of did like a little wood grain and then like brushed over it with the silver color pencil because I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to look after it was blended out. And I didn't want it to be silver, I wanted it to be gray. But when I added the odorless mineral spirits, it showed up more as gray than silver, so it ended up working the way I wanted it to. And I worked on one plank, coloring it in, and then blended it out, and then moved to the next plank while that one dried. And then I went back to the other side and finished that little plank. And then back over to this one, just to try and give the paper time to dry before I worked on it again. And then for the apples, I used yellows and oranges and reds to try to have depth of color. And then for shadows, I used purple. I really like to use purple on anything red that has shadows. Well, I don't know about anything, but the things I've worked on so far, because purple is a mix of blue and red, so it doesn't end up being too harsh of a difference in colors when you're making shadows. Then like a black would be really startling for shadowing on the actual fruit. I do use it for the shadowing on the ground, but not on the fruit. And again, I worked on one apple, blended it out with odorless mineral spirits, and then moved to the next apple so that part of the paper could dry. The secret with color pencils is not to push real hard with your color pencils. Do lots of layers instead of trying to get full color with the first pass with the pencil. So do light layers, multiple light layers. Color pencil is a little bit slower medium than I think just about all the other mediums, except for maybe oil paint, because you have to, that doesn't really dry for like 6 months to a year, but color pencil is quicker than that at least. But for opacity of the color, you have to do a lot more layers than with any other medium that I've found. But it really helps using odorless mineral spirits to to me, it just wakes up the color. Then I'll go back over for another layer on my apples. With the Prismacolors, I try to keep it at 2 layers. Well, okay, so it's more than 2 layers, but I mean between using the odorless mineral spirits. 2 of those is enough. I'd try not to have to go back over it a third time after I blend it that second time, because then these color pencils have a tendency to leave like a waxy coat on your paper. I don't particularly care for that too much. So I try to keep it at 2. But each layer really has multiple amounts of the pigment on the paper. And then I added a little extra depth to the shadows. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Have a great day.